What's up, everybody? FC here from E-MTBR, and today we're going to talk about two big products released: the brand new e-bike from Yeti and the brand new motor from TQ. I hope you guys are doing well, and I've seen a lot of hype about these two products, the motor and this new lightweight e-bike from Yeti. I saw about 10 videos, and all of them were glowing rave reviews. And I'm here to give you a little dose of reality. you know, I don't have the bike and I don't think I'm going to get it, but I'll just give you my opinion, my take, my honest take on what this bike and what this motor is all about and who it might be for, and more important, who it's not for. Okay? So, the bike is called the Yeti MTe, and it has 145 rear travel, 160 front. Comes in three price points: 9,800, 12, and then 14,300 carbon. Are you still sitting down? Yeah. Take a deep breath. So it claims to be light, 39 pounds for the lightweight model, and then 43 pounds and 45 pounds for the $9,800 bike. For the motor, I'll give you my impressions because what they did with the motor is they gained a little bit of weight. Give me my stats. Used to be 50 newton meters, now it's 60 newton meters. Used to be 300 watts, now it is 350 watts. And then the 1850 grams is now 1924 grams, so it got a little bit heavier, and it offers more support. 200% support. Used to be 200% support. So it's barely an upgrade. It looks the same. It's going to consume more juice. And then now they have more batteries. It's kind of the main thing. They have a 290 watt hour battery on the expensive model. This is a 360. And then there's other options. 580, which is a huge jump. They have an extender battery, 160. But even this is not awesome. This is a TQ extender, 160. But some of my folks in Germany measured this to really have like 125 watt hours, so they're kind of cheating on the numbers. And the market has moved on. This is a specialized 280 watt hours. And this is the Bosch, which everyone is going to be using. And this is 250, 160. Probably with 160, it's hardly worth the effort because you have to have a case, a controller, the cable. And if you only have 160 and you're not too honest about your 160, hardly worth the weight of this thing and taking up your water bottle space. The TQ motor, so I've ridden this. I've had it for years. I've ridden it, but not that much because it's the worst motor I've tried. They say 50 newton meters. It can't be more than 40. It's just barely better than my Levo SL version 1. And so it's like, man, this motor is weak, and you have to put out like 200 watts before it puts out most of its power, and it even defaults to 80%, just to save battery. Okay, so not very supportive, very quiet, hella quiet, up and down. That's for dang sure. But the market has moved on from these motors that don't really do much. You want your motor to do a lot to make the effort worth it, and that's why the market has moved on. It's going to be very difficult for Yeti to sell this bike at that price. It's expensive, and their motor, you don't save a lot of weight in the motor. Their motor is 1920 grams. The DJI motor is 2500 grams, so 28% heavier, but their DJI motor is 300% more powerful. All right, let's talk about the bike, the Yeti bike. So 145 to 160 travels 64-degree head angle. It's normally a 29er, but it is mullet compatible. The chainstays are rather long, or 45, I believe. And they spent so much time on their anti-squat and their progressive linkage switch. And it's good. It's good, right? It will ride like a Yeti. They really try to bridge the middle ground between a analog bike and a full-powered e-bike. But again, this is a diminishing market. This is a market for people who hate e-bikes or who want a gateway drug once you have one, you discover how good the Pivot Shuttle LT is, or that Orbea Wild, or any of those DJI bikes. You're like, why would I settle? Why would I settle with limiting all my options with this bike or the new Yeti? So it's an obstacle. If it was affordable, you could have a second bike, good. But at 10 grand to 14,000, it's difficult. They have a lot of anti-squat, which is good for pedaling platform, but I'm not a believer in that. It's like you have power. You have 200% more power than your legs. So get down on the anti-squat. Just give me a more efficient motor with a bigger battery. Give me my traction and my comfort, and call it a day. They also have a leverage ratio where you could change it to make it more progressive. Just make it more progressive. The 29 or 2, it would be better at the mullet. I'm not super high on it, but I just wanted to give you a dose of a point counterpoint, kind of devil's advocate to what the rave rave reviews are happening on YouTube right now, because every one of them was given the Yeti MTe. But I feel like really this motor is not good. Even the update is so limiting, and then the bike they're introducing is a little bit. The market has moved on. In Europe, they're well beyond that, but in the U.S., it's going to move on. Because the true enthusiasts who are willing to spend that kind of big money, it's just you need more travel, more range, more motor, more options.